Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at a Pokemon that's kind of forgotten and a team that climbed me up quite a bit back in the day when the Great League was still available. This is still from the last time Great League was available, which was like 2 weeks ago or something. So not really old gameplay at all. This is going to be a great team to run and I would really recommend you to try it out. We're going to have a fairly bulky team here today. We're going to have the Deoxys defense, we're going to have the Stay Swap of our Dewgong, and also we're going to have in the back our Mandibuzz to clean out some games. And honestly, this team was so great to play. Would really recommend you to try it out, especially because people kinda really underestimate the Deoxys defense form now. Basically, this Pokemon, I think, is like dropped to like below rank 50 or something on PvPoke, which is kinda mad. But honestly, like just having the pressure of Psycho Boost is a madness. Like this thing is so great. Well, here first battle is going to be a little bit of a tough one. The Tentacruel can go for a Scald. We don't really want to go for the charge move then. I thought I would be able to outspeed them, but it is what it is. We can swap out and they're going to have a Giratina in the bag. And yes, that's a great Giratina, but this is going to be also kind of great for us because I like this. The opponent should be in range where we can just go for an aerial ace if they didn't get the debuff here. The debuff is a little bit tricky, but we can still hopefully win, as the opponent should not be able to really outspeed me anymore. And Giratina against our Mandibuzz is going to be a great matchup for us, and so the opponent decides to forfeit. So next opponent, we're going to have Empoleon in the lead. This is going to be great for us as well, as we can just go for the full counter down. We don't really care too much about what the opponent wants to do here. We can use a shield still because they are still hitting hard. It's a shadow variant, but they're swapping out into a Clodsire, allowing us to go for a Psycho Boost. But honestly, I must say I made a little bit of a mistake in this battle, because I should have swapped out immediately into the Dewgong. Because now I just allowed them to get a ton of energy, which is a little bit tricky now for our Dewgong, as 2 Stone Edges will be enough to knock us out, even I think after the debuff here, but we will find out shortly as the Icy Wind is coming through. We will see the opponent using a shield here. And maybe this is a little bit tricky because I don't get to my next Icy Wind in time. I decided to use a shield here as well. It's going to be a Stone Edge. Now I try to go for the full farm down, which does not work out. They're going to get to a next charge move. And we're in a really tough spot now, as they can go for the Stone Edge and actually knock me out already. So we kind of completely screwed up this battle at this point. So that's going to be lovely, but maybe we can still come back from this. And I don't really know the battles anymore either, because again, it's like 2 weeks ago since Great League was available. But I had a great time climbing up with this team back in the day. Like climbing up quite a lot of points. I think like 200-300 points with this team, so great team to run. As you can see here, there's going to be in the back the Annihilate, and so we can just go for another Psycho Boost, get the shield from the opponent, and we're just gonna go for the Psycho Boost spam. And now our Mandibuzz in the back is going to appreciate the energy as well, as they decide to swap out immediately into the Empoleon. We can go for the Dark Pulse. This should be enough to knock them out, and Mandibuzz in the back is just a lovely sweeper in the current meta, so definitely great game there. Let's move on to the next opponent. A Shadow Whiscash. This is going to be great because we can just stay in for a little bit, go for a straight Psycho Boost, and we can swap out eventually into our Dewgong. If they go for Scald, that's going to be fine for us. If they want to go for Mud Bomb, that's going to be fine for us. We are totally okay with this matchup. I don't really care too much what they want to do here, as they're gonna go ahead and go for the Mud Bomb. We can go for the Icy Wind against the opponent's Tentacruel as well, which is gonna be able to drop their attack a little bit. Of course, I would have rather had a Drill Run here, because Drill Run is actually super effective, but it's still going to be fine for us. We can still let the move go through. It's going to be a Scald, so they're not running Sludge Wave, but they're gonna get the attack drop. And I feel like the attack drop maybe actually mattered a little bit, because Drill Run coming through is not going to put them into range where I can farm them down, but at least we can still go for another Drill Run, which is going to do enough damage to knock out the opponent here, and we can align ourselves, as they're going to decide to go ahead and go into their Whiscash. I don't really want to give them enough farm here to go for a lot of charge moves, so I decided to swap out immediately into my Mandibuzz. They decide to stay in, which is going to be okay for us. We're going to use a shield here now on the next Scald that is definitely coming through here, and they're gonna get the debuff, which is totally fair, as they're going to have in the back a Skarmory. This might be a little bit of a trickier one, but let's find out here. We can do only quite a little bit of damage, but let's see here. We can still try to go for another charge move. This is going to be able to get some more damage on them, but I kind of would like to swap out eventually. But the opponent goes for a charge move here. It's going to be a Sky Attack. We survive, and so we can swap out, keeping a little bit of energy as well on our Mandibuzz, and we can go into our Deoxys. Using a shield here against a potential Brave Bird might have been a great play, but like this time around, it did not really work out too well, and I should have maybe went for a charge move, but we can actually farm him down and win this game, as the opponent decides to forfeit. Next one, we're going to have the Poliwrath. Poliwrath is going to be a great one for us as well. We can just go for the Psycho Boost. Psycho Boost coming through here, going to be able to get the shield from the opponent. We of course have to stay in here, but we can just play it out like this. We don't really care too much about it, and they swap out into a Gligar. What a surprise. Gligar is one of the most common safe swaps, and so having a Dewgong in the back actually helps out quite a bit. As you're gonna see here, we can just go for the full farm down, and the opponent has nothing really to do here. We can just go ahead and try to get the knockout against them as well. We're gonna get the next charge move coming through against the opponent's Poliwrath. It's going to do some massive damage, and also their charge moves are all going to be resisted, but we can even reach another Icy Wind, and this is forcing a shield from them as they have so much energy stored. They're at 100 energy at this point, and I don't really care too much about what they want to do here, because I can just farm them down. Scald coming through, fine for me. They can just go for another one. I'm going to use a shield just in case I need a Psycho Boost against whatever they have in the back. Icy Wind, totally fine. It's going to be a Clodsire. I rather keep my charge move here stored because I can use it later on then, and I'm not debuffed at that point. So here I can go for a Dark Pulse, and they are not going to be able to knock me out with 2 Stone Edges, I think, because Mandibuzz is a little bit bulkier. Exactly, they're not going to get me into range, so I need 3 Stone Edges in order to knock me out, and so I can definitely get them into range. One Psycho Boost is going to knock them out, and we're not really in a bad spot. We're going to still have a shield left, which is going to be great, and they are forced to go basically straight for a charge move, as we're going to get them lower and lower and lower, and they're going to go straight for it. I'll let this move go through. I can overfarm on my Deoxys as well, and even if they want to swap out, I don't think there's a way of really winning the game for them. They tried to swap, it didn't work, and so they forfeit. Next opponent, we're going to have another decent lead for us. Again, Deoxys is honestly so underrated. I do understand that people don't really want to run something like a Medicham at the current time, but I honestly feel like Deoxys is like such a strong Pokemon in the current meta. Because Medicham, if you think about it, has going to have like a little bit bigger weaknesses in the current meta, as you're not going to really have great coverage against the Annihilate. Yes, you have Psychic, which is going to now take less damage from them, but here you're going to get to your Psycho Boost at the same time as they're going to get to a Night Sash, so you can definitely play that one out. Here, we're going to see the Dark Bolts coming through against them. We can align ourselves. They're most likely going to run Ice Beam, which is totally okay for me. But here's also... Oh, they're actually running Water Pulse, which is better for me. But also what is kind of great for us is that if we're going to end up in a scenario... It's kind of wild that they're going to have the Trevenant in the back here, by the way. If we're going to end up in a scenario where Dewgong is going to be available, the opponent only has 1 Pokemon left, we're just going to be able to drop their attack the entire time, which is going to be great for us as well. Here I can actually get a shield from them, which is totally happy, as we can just try to reach for another charge move later on against them with our Mandibuzz most likely. I would just go for an Aerial Ace here at this point. We have 2 Aerial Aces stored. We can take a Shell Ball without a doubt. And so we're going to have a great matchup now coming up later on as well, as our Mantine is going to... Not our Mantine. The opponent's Mantine is going to not have a great time against the Dewgong. You see me swapping out immediately because I know that I can just drop their attack, and this game is basically over, because they are most likely not even going to be able to knock my Mandibuzz out with an Aerial Ace anymore after I dropped their attack a little bit. So they're still trying their best. They still had a ton of energy, which you can see by them spamming those Aerial Aces, but I don't think it's going to really help them, as now their attack is going to be dropped, and I feel like at this point they're kind of going to realize as well, yep, there is no way of me winning this, and so they forfeit again. Honestly, this team makes everyone quit, which is kind of wild. Deoxys, again here in the lead, is going to have a great matchup against the Skarmory. Having Thunderbolt definitely helps here with that. You're going to generate energy at the same pace as the opponent as well, which is going to allow you to get to the first Thunderbolt at the same time as the opponent gonna get to a Brave Bird. They decide to go for a Brave Bird here, totally happy for us as they swap out into a Lantern. This is kind of the way to go here anyway for this team. Your lead is kind of neutral against the Lantern, and your Dewgong is supposed to bait it out while punishing it with the Drill Run, which is working out pretty well for us. We decide to use a shield here, and so I try to go for the bait with the Icy Wind, which is maybe not the ideal play. I should went for a little bit less fast move pressure here. But the opponent decides to let this move go through, which is really bad for me, because now I'm in a spot where they can knock me out. If I went for the Drill Run, I would have been in a great spot. So that is definitely going to change the matchup quite a bit. I sure went for the Drill Run, but at least I get some energy here, which can help us out as well against maybe the Skarmory that is coming back in. But it's not really looking too great for us, as Skarmory is coming back. I go for the Psycho Boost, because I know that they're going to use a shield now anyway. And they decide to actually use a shield this time around. I try to go up to the Thunderbolt, but they go for a charge move before, and basically I think this game is over. Unless the opponent is running in the back a Trevenant, there is basically no way for me to win this game. They can just go for the Brave Bird, boom, and they're going to have in the back a Whiscash, which is possible to beat, but it is not really a great matchup for us. We're still gonna try our best here. They can go for a Scald most likely after this charge move as well, and if they get the debuff, it's basically over anyway. Like, if they get the Scald debuff now, we are gonna be done. We will see if it's going to be the debuff or not. It is going to be the Scald. Oh, it's a Blizzard. Never mind. They are running Blizzard. That's even wilder. Next opponent, we're going to have a Gastrodon. Gastrodon is great for us as well. And Gastrodon is also great for the Pokemon that we have in the back in our Dugong, so we're going to be great with that as well. We can now swap into the Mandibuzz, avoiding the Gastrodon completely, which is great as well. But you know what's also amazing? Even when we're going to be able to knock out the Whiscash and we're going to be able to swap out eventually, we can just swap out. We have two Pokemon that's good against Gastrodon, so we don't really care too much about what the opponent tries to do here. They can go back into the Gastrodon, I can go for an Aerial Ace, I can still try to punish them a little bit. I hope that they're gonna go for a Dragon Claw very soon, because this would allow me to swap out eventually, but as you can see, they make a great play. They are farming me all the way down basically, and at this point it is not really worth it for me to try to keep my Mandibuzz healthy, and so I can let this move go through. I can go into my Dugong, and whatever they have in the back is gonna get debuffed now, and so I decide to use maybe even a shield here, not too sure. I am not. It's going to be a crunch. It is going to not drop my defense, and it's going to be a Manton in the back. I can go for an Icy Wind, so they do less damage, and I can try to go for some Thunderbolts with my Deoxys, and they even use a shield, which is a very silly play by the opponent, because Thunderbolt is going to one-shot, like the Icy Wind does like 30% health, so I don't really know why they did this, but we will not complain, as I can let those moves go through. There's basically no way of them winning this game. Like, honestly, I cannot really see a way for them to turn this around. This game should be kind of over. They're gonna decide to still use a shield, so they will be able to swap out into their Guzzlord before I can go for my own Thunderbolt again. But I can even still take an Aerial Ace. They can swap out soon, but actually I can still get the charge move off against the Mantine, knocking them out. I can swap out, and this is going to be game. I still have 2 shields left, not only 1, but this is going to be all it takes, and we can move on to the final battle of today. Again, as you can see by the gameplay, this team is amazing. It was like so much fun to play. Here against Gligar, I just go for the Psycho Boost, because this is like the beautiful thing about Deoxys in the lead. You can just go for the Psycho Boost and then dip out afterwards, doing a ton of damage already. And we kind of put them now into a range where you kind of can knock them out with another Psycho Boost later on, so that's going to be lovely. We see here them swapping into a Lantern, which is something that you can kind of expect. I decided to go ahead and go for a shield here as well, which is going to go up against the Thunderbolt. And I'll try to go for another Drill Run just to get them low. You kind of have to hit at least 1 Drill Run against them here in order to have a decent chance. This is going to connect, and we can still try to reach another charge move, which does not work out. The opponent makes a great call, but if this is a Surf, we still survive. It is not, and so we are going to go back into our Deoxys. My play here is just to farm them down. I don't care what they do here, I just try to farm them down. But I get rid of the Lantern, so our Pokemon in the back, our Mandibuzz, is going to be able to sweep. So, let's see what we can do here. They decide to go into a Cresselia, and this is going to allow me to now know what they're going to have in the back, and so I can play accordingly. I can let those moves go through, because the only thing that really matters here is that the opponent is not getting a Moonblast against me. And as you can see, they decide to use a shield, and with this, I should be able to just go for a Dark Pulse, put them into farmland range, get a ton of energy, and hopefully going to be able to knock out the Cresselia in the meantime. So let's see here. The Dark Pulse is going to connect, is going to get them low enough that Snarl down is the play to go for. And so we're going to see here how strong this team is, honestly. If you have your Deoxys defense still laying around somewhere, try this team out. Deoxys is so insanely underrated in the current meta, especially there's like recently a little bit of a shift towards more steel types back there, basically something like an Alolan Sandslash in the lead quite often. And so I feel like this is like such a strong team to play right now. I would really recommend you to try it out. And so this is going to be also kind of it for this video. If you have not seen it, yesterday I made a video about 15 top legend teams for the Open Great League, so definitely check this one out, and I'll see you then. Bye bye!